Boiling rivers that melt flesh, stone forests that hum in silence, and landscapes so strange they look digitally rendered. These places don't follow the rules of Earth, but they're as real as the ground beneath your feet. And today, we're exploring 20 of the most mind-bending places on the planet. Our first stop takes us deep into a place so vividly surreal, it almost feels like Earth trying to impersonate another planet. Antelope Canyon, USA, carved by centuries of flash floods and desert wind, Antelope Canyon twists through the Arizona desert like a ribbon of sandstone. Its walls rise and fold in graceful curves, smoothed by time into shapes that seem more sculpted than eroded. When sunlight filters down through the narrow cracks above, the canyon explodes in color, waves of red, gold, purple, and fiery orange that shift with every hour. There are two main sections, Upper Antelope and Lower Antelope, each with its own mood, light play, and narrow turns. The experience feels otherworldly, like stepping inside a living painting that changes as you walk. But as stunning as it is, this place can turn deadly fast. Flash floods have claimed lives here, with walls so tight they leave no room to escape rising water. That's why access is only allowed through guided tours. Still, it remains one of the most photographed and awe-inspiring natural wonders in the entire United States. One visit and the memory sticks for life. Next, we leave the desert's fire and step into a river so vibrant it's been called the liquid rainbow of the world. Caño Cristales, Colombia. In Colombia's Serranía de la Macarena, Caño Cristales flows through a landscape few ever reach, and even fewer forget. For much of the year, the river may seem unremarkable, but from late May to early November, it transforms into something otherworldly. Beneath its clear waters, a rare plant called Macarenia clavigera bursts into bloom, turning the riverbed into a surreal blend of crimson, yellow, green, blue, and deep black. Locals call it the liquid rainbow, but it's best known worldwide as the River of Five Colors. This vivid display isn't guaranteed. It only happens when sunlight, rainfall, and water clarity align perfectly. No fertilizers or chemicals, just nature at its most precise and magical. The river lies in a protected area and is only accessible through carefully regulated ecotours. But those who make the journey describe it not just as a river, but as a living, breathing masterpiece, painted fresh each year by the hands of the earth itself. But from this explosion of color, we now descend into an eerie world of silence and ice hidden beneath the Alps. Ice Cave of the Zenol Glacier, Switzerland. Tucked deep within the Swiss canton of Valais lies a natural wonder few get to witness, the Ice Cave of the Zenol Glacier. This hidden chamber is not part of a tourist theme park. It's wild, real, and constantly shifting. Step inside and you're surrounded by glowing blue walls that curve like frozen waves, their color created by centuries-old ice compacted into crystal-like layers. Faint light seeps through the glacier's surface, casting surreal shadows across the narrow, winding passages. The temperature drops sharply. The silence is so complete, it presses against your ears until the sudden groan or crack of the glacier reminds you it's alive. Every visit is unique. What you see today may collapse tomorrow, or be reshaped entirely by melting and refreezing. That constant change makes it both mesmerizing and slightly terrifying. It's not a polished tourist site, it's Earth's natural cathedral, carved by ice, time, and silence, standing for now, but never forever. And from these frozen chambers, we now journey to a land where stone pillars rise from misty waters like something out of a dream. Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. The Danakil Depression in northeastern Ethiopia isn't just extreme. It's one of the most brutal places on Earth. Daytime temperatures regularly soar past 120 degrees Fahrenheit, making it nearly impossible for most life to survive. But it's not just the heat. The land here is a chaotic mix of boiling sulfur springs, toxic gas vents, acid pools, and jagged salt flats. The ground hisses, bubbles, and steams as if the earth is exhaling its fury. Neon colors, bright greens, deep yellows, and burning oranges paint the terrain in surreal patterns, as if nature went wild with a highlighter. Despite this hellish environment, something incredible happens here. Tiny extremophile microbes not only survive but thrive, feeding off the acidic, mineral-rich waters. These organisms have fascinated astrobiologists who study them as potential clues to life on other planets. The Danakil Depression may look like a scene from a distant galaxy, but it's right here, hiding in the deserts of Africa. But after this inferno of color and heat, we head to a place where Earth stretches out like a mirror. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. Salar de Uyuni in southwest Bolivia is the largest salt flat on Earth, stretching across more than 4,000 square miles of high-altitude desert. In the dry season, it's a blinding, endless sheet of cracked white salt that crunches beneath your feet, so flat and vast it feels like walking across the surface of another planet. But after rare seasonal rains, everything changes. A shallow layer of water turns the flats into a giant mirror, reflecting the sky with near-perfect clarity. Clouds drift beneath your feet. Stars appear both above and below. Entire mountain ranges float like illusions. It's one of the few places on Earth where the line between land and sky disappears. But beneath this surreal beauty lies something valuable: massive reserves of lithium, a key element for batteries and modern tech. Salar de Uyuni isn't just a photographer's dream. It's a place where science, silence, and illusion collide in the open air. What comes next doesn't shimmer or reflect, but it does feel like something Earth was never supposed to grow. Socotra Island, Yemen, often called the most alien-looking place on Earth. Socotra Island lies isolated in the Arabian Sea off the coast of Yemen. Its landscape is dominated by bizarre trees like the dragon's blood tree, with umbrella-like branches and crimson resin that seeps like blood from its bark. Over 1/3 of its plant life is found nowhere else on the planet. Windswept limestone plateaus, white sand dunes, and jagged mountains make the island feel more like a science fiction set than a real location. Due to its long isolation and unique biodiversity, Socotra is often referred to as the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean. But human activity and climate shifts now threaten this fragile ecosystem's balance. From this remote biological wonder, we now head toward terraces that seem to melt down the side of a mountain like frozen waterfalls. Pamukkale, Turkey. Pamukkale, which means cotton castle in Turkish, is one of the most otherworldly landscapes in the world. Located in southwestern Turkey, this natural wonder was formed over thousands of years by flowing thermal waters rich in calcium and carbonate minerals. As the water cooled, it deposited dazzling white travertine terraces that tumble down the hillside like a staircase made of snow or polished marble. These terraces hold shallow pools of warm, turquoise blue water that reflect the sky and shift color with the sun. The effect is surreal, like walking across clouds solidified into stone. Just above the terraces sit the ancient ruins of Hierapolis, a Roman spa city where emperors and generals once bathed in the same healing waters. Today, the site is carefully managed to protect its delicate formations from erosion and overuse. Even with visitors from around the world, Pamukkale still feels sacred, quiet, glowing, and frozen in time, where natural forces and ancient history meet in perfect harmony. But from the cotton-white terraces of Turkey, we now step into a desert where the ground looks more like snow than sand. White Sands National Park, USA. White Sands National Park in southern New Mexico is home to the largest gypsum dune field on the planet, a shimmering desert unlike anything else on Earth. Spanning over 275 square miles, its rolling dunes are made not of typical sand, but of pure white gypsum crystals, giving the entire landscape a blinding snow-like appearance. Unlike quartz sand, gypsum doesn't absorb heat, so the dunes remain cool to the touch, even under the brutal desert sun. The wind here is a restless sculptor, constantly reshaping the dunes into ridges and ripples that vanish and reappear daily. Despite the harsh conditions, life finds a way. Unique plant species like the soap tree yucca anchor themselves in the shifting sands, while lizards and insects have evolved lighter coloring to blend in with their glowing surroundings. At first glance, the area feels lifeless, but the longer you stay, the more it comes alive. In this strange, glowing expanse, it's easy to forget you're in the desert. It feels more like standing in a frozen ocean under the blazing sun. Now, from the white sands of New Mexico, we enter a surreal world where shifting dunes trap freshwater lagoons between them. Lençóis Maranhenses, Brazil. Lençóis Maranhenses National Park in northeastern Brazil may look like a vast desert at first glance, but it's a landscape that defies every expectation. Stretching across nearly 600 square miles, its endless white sand dunes resemble waves frozen in time. But during the rainy season, from June to September, something magical happens. Fresh water collects in the valleys between the dunes, forming thousands of clear blue lagoons that dot the landscape like scattered mirrors. These lagoons, fed by consistent rainfall and held in place by the impermeable rock beneath the sand, create a surreal scene, rolling dunes divided by sparkling pools that seem to appear from nowhere. The contrast of bright white against deep turquoise is so vivid, it almost looks digitally enhanced. Despite the dry look, this region isn't a desert at all. It gets too much rainfall to qualify. Wildlife like fish and turtles survive here by burrowing into the sand or migrating with the rains. To see it from above or wade through its warm waters on foot is to feel like you've stepped into a living painting, one that exists only for a brief moment each year. You've seen water flowing between dunes, but what happens when fire breaks through the earth and never stops burning? Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. The Door to Hell is a massive, fiery crater that has been burning non-stop in the Karakum Desert of Turkmenistan since 1971. It began when Soviet geologists accidentally collapsed an underground gas cavern during drilling. To prevent the spread of methane, they set it alight, expecting it to burn off within a few days. But more than 5 decades later, the flames are still going. The crater spans over 200 feet wide and emits a constant heat, casting a glow visible for miles at night. It draws curious travelers despite its remote location and eerie reputation. Standing at the edge, you can feel the heat rising from below and hear the roar of fire escaping the earth. Just beyond this pit of endless flame lies a hidden cathedral, not of fire or stone, but sculpted entirely by glacial water. Marble Caves, Chile. The Marble Caves, or Cuevas de Marmol, sit along the remote shores of Chile's General Carrera Lake. Over thousands of years, waves gently carved the colorful marble cliffs into stunning arches, tunnels, and chambers. When the sunlight hits just right, the cave walls glow in swirling patterns of turquoise, blue, and white, reflecting the lake's brilliant hues. The formations change slightly with every movement of water and light, making each visit unique. Accessible only by boat, the caves are isolated, fragile, and constantly shifting. They feel like a hidden sanctuary below the surface, shaped not by violence or eruption, but by slow, patient erosion. Up next, we leave the chill of these silent waters and step into a place so dry and dead, even time seems to have stopped. Deadvlei, Namibia. Tucked inside Namibia's Namib Naukluft National Park is a haunting desert basin known as Deadvlei. The ground here is dry white clay, surrounded by massive red sand dunes that tower over the landscape. In the center stand ancient camel thorn trees that died centuries ago when the river that once fed the area shifted away. Because of the intense dryness, their trunks never decomposed. They remain standing, dark and lifeless, preserved in place by the desert's silence. The sharp contrast between the white pan, blackened trees, and orange dunes makes this one of the most surreal sights on Earth. It doesn't just look lifeless. It feels like time itself stopped moving, leaving this dry and silent world behind. The next place flows with water, but it's anything but refreshing. Rio Tinto, Spain. In southwestern Spain, the Rio Tinto River cuts through a landscape that looks more alien than earthly. Its waters are a deep red, colored by iron and heavy minerals picked up from the rocks it flows through. The river is highly acidic and toxic, yet some forms of life manage to survive in its harsh environment. Microbiologists study this area closely because it mirrors the conditions scientists believe might exist on Mars. Along the riverbanks lie remnants of old mining operations, adding rusted machinery and scarred terrain to the already unusual scenery. The result is a region that feels industrial, chemical, and unnatural, yet undeniably mesmerizing. We leave behind this otherworldly current and descend toward the oldest lake on the planet, where ancient water hides ancient secrets. Lake Baikal, Russia. Lake Baikal in southern Russia isn't just another frozen body of water. It's the deepest lake on Earth, plunging over 5,300 feet. But what truly makes it surreal is the clarity of its ice. In winter, the frozen surface becomes crystal clear, revealing air bubbles, cracks, and even fish swimming below. Some sections appear almost like glass roads, stretching endlessly. Baikal also holds 20% of the world's unfrozen freshwater, home to over 2,000 unique species, many found nowhere else. Scientists believe it's over 25 million years old, making it the oldest freshwater lake, too. Its isolated environment helped it become one of the most biodiverse lake ecosystems on the planet. In summer, it transforms into a sparkling blue mirror, while in winter, it's a frozen alien world. And from these icy alien plains, we move toward a very different kind of otherworldly light, one fueled not by sunlight, but by fire and sulfur. Kawah Ijen volcano, Indonesia. There are volcanoes around the world, but few burn with the ghostly blue flames of Kawah Ijen. Located on the island of Java in Indonesia, Kawah Ijen is known for its electric blue fire, a phenomenon caused not by lava, but by the combustion of sulfuric gases that ignite when they contact the outside air. These flames can reach 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit and glow vividly against the night. The volcano also holds a stunning turquoise crater lake, the world's largest highly acidic lake. Despite the dangers, sulfur miners work here daily, hauling heavy yellow chunks from the crater's rim. Often without protective gear, their ghostly silhouettes walking through clouds of sulfur add to the surreal, haunting landscape. Kawah Ijen isn't just a volcano. It's a place where beauty and danger coexist in raw, unfiltered form. Leaving this realm of glowing fire and sulfur, we now head toward a forest made entirely of limestone. Sharp, jagged, and unlike anything else on Earth. Tchengi de Bemaraha, Madagascar. Tucked away in western Madagascar lies a forest where no trees grow, only razor-sharp stone. The Tchengi de Bemaraha is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, famed for its limestone formations that rise like jagged towers. The word Tchengi comes from the Malagasy language, meaning where one cannot walk barefoot, and it's easy to see why. These rock pinnacles were carved by millennia of rainwater erosion, forming a labyrinth of vertical blades. Some spires rise over 300 feet, creating a landscape that looks more like a natural fortress than a park. Despite the harsh terrain, the region is home to rare lemurs, chameleons, and unique plants clinging to the stone. But most of the park remains untouched. It's a sharp, alien terrain that challenges nature itself and those who dare to explore it. From jagged stone forests, we head into the edge of the Sahara, where an ancient mud brick fortress rises from the desert like something out of legend. Aït Benhaddou, Morocco. Aït Benhaddou is a UNESCO-protected Sar, a fortified village located along the former caravan route between the Sahara and Marrakesh. Built with traditional earthen clay and straw, its red-brown towers and narrow alleys have stood for centuries, surviving the harsh desert climate. This stunning settlement dates back to at least the 17th century, though its origins may be older. What makes Aït Benhaddou even more surreal is how untouched it feels, like stepping back in time. Though largely uninhabited today, a few families still live within its crumbling walls. Its visual impact is so strong that it's been featured in films like Gladiator, Game of Thrones, and The Mummy. The surrounding desert only enhances its haunting beauty, especially at sunset, when the Sar glows with golden light. From this cinematic ghost village, we journey to a place where red sands stretch endlessly, painted not by humans, but by nature's own artistry. Wadi Rum Desert, Jordan. Vast, silent, and painted in every shade of red, the Wadi Rum Desert in Jordan feels like a planet not yet touched by life. Also known as the Valley of the Moon, Wadi Rum is a protected desert wilderness of sandstone and granite rock formations, shaped by thousands of years of wind erosion. Towering cliffs, narrow canyons, and natural arches rise from deep red sand, creating a landscape so strange that it was used as a stand-in for Mars in films like The Martian. Ancient petroglyphs and inscriptions left by the Thamudic and Nabatean peoples still mark the walls, whispering forgotten stories. Lawrence of Arabia once passed through here during the Arab Revolt, and the silence he described still lingers. Despite its harshness, Bedouin tribes have survived in this region for generations, offering insight into one of Earth's most timeless desert cultures. The colors of Wadi Rum shift with the light, turning every hour into a different scene, raw, quiet, and surreal. From these Martian sands, we now shift to something far colder, but no less otherworldly. Giant's Causeway, Northern Ireland, waves crash, wind howls, but the real magic lies in the rocks beneath your feet. The Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland is a stretch of coast unlike anything else, made up of over 40,000 interlocking basalt columns, most of them perfectly hexagonal, formed around 60 million years ago by ancient volcanic activity. The cooling lava cracked into these geometric shapes as it hardened. The result is a natural stone staircase that appears almost man-made. Legend, however, tells a different tale, that an Irish giant named Fionn McCumhaill built the causeway to challenge his Scottish rival. Whether you believe the science or the myth, standing among these perfect columns while waves crash nearby feels undeniably surreal. The contrast of the dark rock against the fierce blue sea only heightens the dreamlike effect. It's a place where geology and folklore collide, and where every step takes you deeper into the story. From these ancient steps carved by fire and sea, we head to one final wonder, where nature's colors light up the sky itself. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia is the world's largest salt flat, stretching over 4,000 square miles. Formed by ancient evaporated lakes, the surface is a dazzling white expanse of polygon-shaped salt crust. But when it rains, something magical happens. The flat transforms into a giant mirror, reflecting the sky with almost impossible clarity. This natural phenomenon turns the horizon into an illusion, blending clouds and land in a surreal 360-degree view. The mirror effect is so precise that NASA uses the salt flat to calibrate satellites. In the dry season, the endless salt stretches like snow under a blazing sun. In the wet season, it becomes a portal between worlds. This is nature's optical illusion at its grandest scale, a surreal ending to a journey across Earth's strangest landscapes. We often think of Earth as familiar, but these places prove otherwise. They remind us that the surreal isn't always in science fiction. It's hidden in deserts, frozen lakes, burning volcanoes, and stone forests. You just have to know where to look.